What a way to start. Hey guys, how you going? Neil and I are just sitting here having a chat in the background, and I looked down and I was like, oh shit, we were meant to be live 5 minutes ago. So, how you going?
Yeah, hello everyone. It's like we just get so easily distracted in our conversation.
Oh,
Like,
that's awesome. Awesome. Um, so, I'm just trying to figure out my controls here. I might just have to go and do it manually because, you know. First things, we get the first things done out of the way. Happy birthday, bro! It's your birthday today.
oh,
For those who are watching, don't know, so I'm just going to go ahead and say happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Neil, happy birthday to you. Mate, it's been a pleasure. I've been on this journey with you so far. We've had some amazing times together around the world, even on our birthdays. We've shared our birthdays on more than one occasion at different events. So it's quite fitting that we're here today on the show, and it's your birthday. So, mate, happy birthday. How you feeling?
man, today started with a lot of anticipation. And my partner's been
Why? Why, pray tell, was there a lot of anticipation? Tell us.
well, I thought I was going to be jumping out of the plane. Well, sorry, throwing out of a plane. And so the first conversation around that was like, don't even bother, don't even go there. It's like, that's not something, one of my desires to even consider. And then, and bungee jumping is in the same category. I don't have the inkling to want to do that. I mean, and here's why. We take up in Auckland, New Zealand. They have the Rainbow's End. It's called. It's got all the rides, and one of the rides there is called Fearfall. And kids, say, yeah, come on, Dad, let's get up there. So we go, and it cranks it up, dun, 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 and I'm really enjoying the view. It was fantastic, such a great view. And then it's sort of you sit there and like what was probably only 2 or 3 seconds at the top seemed like sort of 5 to 10. And then all of a sudden, this thing just dropped its ass. And I don't know whether it was free fall or whether it was down. But like I was like, like the falling, those dreams that wakes you up like you're falling, and it was just like it wouldn't stop. This feeling in my body just. So I guess, and of course we get off that. I'm like, I'm not getting up on that again.
You're crazy, lady.
Like the kids are like, "Come on, Dad, sing it." No, you're on your own. They must have done 5 or 6 times. It's like me. No.
Mate, I can say that I've jumped in Tauranga. It's awesome, and I can also say that I've bungee jumped. I bungee jumped once because I love that sort of shit. But the one time I bungee jumped was in Taupo, and I remember I rocked up to the edge, and I looked over the edge, and I looked back and went, "It's too late to get a refund." And he goes, "Yep." And I went, "Okay," and I went, and I remember I got a video of it to tell how long ago it was. VHS. I got a video of it, and you watch me jump, and it's just silent. It's just this. Until I get to the bottom of the rope and hear this, as the air gets squeezed out of my lungs right at the end. It's like, oh, yep, that's about it. So when we go to theme parks here, Sarah goes, "You're broken." I was like, yeah, maybe.
Thank God that air coming out was coming out your mouth.
yeah, it wasn't the thud at the bottom. The good thing of doing it in Taupo is that you're doing it into a river, so if it breaks, you're going to get wet. That's the worst part.
I guess the build up to this whole thing, and Yvonne did a great job of pretty much feeling like it was cemented, and even right through this morning, and I just showed you.
Yep. You got stitched up pretty good.
Welcome me on the I did. Last night we were down the club, and the new people that we met down there, and that was all the conversation. And who was it? Somebody was telling me, it's like, if the parachute doesn't open, and I'm going, well, if it doesn't open, I'm just going to go, flat out and just bring a trailer full of dirt with you, and we'll just
coming straight over.
And then I think it was Stephen Farrell down in Nape. He said to me, "Oh no, you bounce, you bounce, you actually bounce."
That's it.
Yep. Yeah. So the guys last night that we were talking, I said, you guys can run a sweepstake off of this, see whether the parachute opens, whether if it doesn't, whether I bounce or whether I go in. It's like, you guys can make some money off of it.
And yeah, how high is it going to bounce? Hey, so guys, before we get into anything, I'm just going to say what we say here is our opinion. If we say anything that offends you, this is a new one I'm adding. If we say anything that offends you, you'll get over it. You will. We're not your parents. But no, whatever we share here is our opinion. It's based on research that we've done, but of course we invite you to do the research yourselves as well. We share controversial things, polarizing things, and that's by design, I guess. But it's the things that we're passionate about. But before we go any further, here's a message from our sponsors. Not really. I'm not getting paid to say this, but this here is something I told Neil about yesterday. Tissue salts. This is the combination 12. So this is all 12 of the different tissue salts. Now, depending on, we're going to a little bit of astrology here that I don't know a lot about, but depending on what star sign you're born, what time of the day you were born, etc., what your rising sun is, what your descending moon is, all those sorts of things, depends on which one of these salts that you need. So this one here, this is a combo one. As I said, combo 12, it does pretty much all of them. Now, the research that a good friend of mine's mother has done, who is an astrologist, and that's why I know about these things, the research that she has done has led her to believe that these tissue salts, we produce, like many of the things in our body, we produce them naturally until we get to a certain age, and then they start to decrease. And that's when aging starts to kick in. So the theory is that if you keep taking these and have enough of these in your system, that you should be able to live forever. I'll tell you in 80 years how I'm going.
I'll be there with you, buddy.
Absolutely. I'd say you're about halfway.
Yeah. We I don't know if we joked or whether we were actually serious about it, and it was years ago that we started talking about it, but it's like, I have no doubt that I'm going to have the ability to go to at least 120 years of age.
Absolutely.
Now, I follow that up by saying, so long as I've got all my faculties and I can live a happy, normal life and a functional life. And
no point. You've got to have quality of life, otherwise what's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's you introducing that yesterday was really something that will be part of my repertoire.
So guys, it's Schuessler tissue salts. And that whole living to 120 and then reassessing, that actually comes care of Margie Seidman. So thanks, Margie, for that. It's certainly something that I talk about now, get to 120 and I'll reevaluate then.
Yeah.
So what skullduggery is going on in the world right now, Neil?
I tell you what, there's been a massive kind of, it's almost like the world's sped up. It's like it's spinning faster, and I guess things are coming unhinged. The faster we spin, the more shit comes to the surface, and hopefully good stuff as well. But we're already pretty grounded as human beings on this planet anyway. So it's the ones that aren't grounded that are being, sieved to the surface.
Sieved to the surface. Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah. I suppose when you shake something, I suppose when it goes to the top, the lighter stuff goes to the top, so it could be right.
On that, you're talking about spinning sort of stuff, though. I mean, do you get, if we're spinning faster, if it's even at all spinning, does that mean we're getting closer to the South Pole or closer to the firmament? Which one is it?
Firmament. If you don't know what we're talking about when I say it like that, the firmament, then you need to go and watch the Lost History of the World.
Yeah.
It's on BitChute. It's about 6 hours long, but it's good. It's a good watch.
Yeah, do a Google search on that word filament, and then do one on DuckDuckGo. There's probably two totally different.
Yeah, DuckDuckGo, absolutely. So here's some news for those who were unaware. So the Premier says there's no evidence that the shot stopped any transmission in the workforce. But here's something I'm going to say about that. Only a year ago, you would have been banned on Facebook for saying such things. You'd have been banned anywhere for saying such things. Actually, here's something for you all to laugh about. Obviously, we're on a new channel now. we're back on YouTube, and we've got a dedicated Under the Rug channel, which is awesome. I uploaded all of our old sessions to it, and you'll notice that I think it's episode 5 is missing because YouTube flagged it because it doesn't go, it contradicts their terms of service from the direction that the World Health Organization has given them. Wait, on what? Hey? So everyone's at the behest of the WHO. I'll tell you what, there's I think it was the 27th, so 27th of February, there was apparently Joe Biden was essentially ceding all, and this was on Redacted last week. If you haven't seen Redacted, they've got a channel on Rumble. Go and check them out because they're definitely worth having a watch. They tell a very balanced view of everything. They're not biased in any one direction. They literally just state the facts. So Joe Biden has he's essentially ceded all sovereignty to the WHO, so they get to make all their decisions. Their pandemic Freudian slip there. Their pandemic response. Oh, yeah, these have got this ISO recording error again. I wonder what's going on with that.
We should make sure that the audience can hear us. And
it's a good point. I'm pretty sure that if they couldn't, it'd have been something in the comments by now.
Yeah. Right now I see there's a total of 6 watching, which is fantastic. But if you actually put a 0 next to the 6, and you'll realise that that's the year that I'm celebrating today, this very point in time.
I wasn't going to say it.
Well, here's the thing, and I think it needs to be said because it is quite a milestone. Because I think there's going to be a lot of people that don't make that in the future, which is really, really sad. Hopefully, though, as time moves on, that new wonderful health technologies will enable people to live that life that they want. But yeah, 60. Yep. I don't feel it. I don't feel anything like it, and I even
look at either. Although the only time I've ever seen you sort of looking to close your age was in Rotterdam when you were following me over a bridge.
Did you see my lips though? Because that was painful. I felt like I'm in the Hunchback in Notre Dame trying to follow you over the bridge.
Yeah, you didn't let on though. Every time I turned around and said, "You're right." Yeah, no, I'm good. Instead of going, "No, actually, I'm in a lot of pain. We should go home." Cool, we could have done that.
Oh, God. I was glad, but that turned into a great little trip because we caught the little ferry back or the little boat.
That's
back
right, we did too. That's because you couldn't walk.
You made the suggestion.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Let's do that.
And thanks for that post on Facebook this morning with some great shots of our journey over
absolutely.
How many years? I mean, it's at least 5 years with that, but another couple of years prior to that, and the things that we've done. It's like jeepers.
Yep.
Jeepers, we've done some stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's good too.
Yeah.
So, the title of our live today is so what's next? What can we expect, and how can we be prepared? So, this is probably going to be a short show today. Or there's a good chance it'll be a short show today because it's Neil's birthday and he's going away. So we should probably get into it. Not going away, going out for lunch or having lunch or something. He did tell me, but I didn't really listen. I'm kidding, bro. I'm kidding. Now, so what's going on? Tell us about some of the things we can expect in March.
Well, there's a lot, and I guess that's what I sort of was alluding to with the world sort of speeding up and everything that's going on. There's just, if you look at so much stuff that's been going on around the world, and it's like you can't help but touch on what we touched on last week, with derailments and UFOs and all sorts of things.
And Project Bluebeam. Did we actually end up talking about Project Bluebeam? I still don't think we've spoken about it.
Oh no, probably not. But I guess it's that's just another massive psyop to keep people in fear of everything. But the bigger picture is that we are the guys are running out of ammo. The ones
literally and figuratively.
yeah, that kept us enslaved for thousands of years, and all that's being exposed. So and of course, as the more that they run out, they're running out of ammo, they're running out of funds, and so what that does. Yes, Sam, he's already rung. You must have hopped on late, buddy, but I'm sure he'll sing it again by the time we end the day.
Hold on, how am I so predictable, Sam? Anyway, carry
on. But yeah, as these guys run out and they're getting their backs up against the wall, then they're making mistakes, and that's what is being exposed. So the month of March, which seems to be a lot of stuff that's coming. That is, there's actually timelines on things that will be happening. How they affect the bigger picture, because we know we can't go by timelines. We can only go by events. So,
so speaking of that, now for those playing along at home, we're going through a few different scenarios, obviously, that are starting to play out that we've seen, and of course, there's plenty of stuff happening in March. So we're led to believe, obviously, a key date in March that we're told about, and again, I think last week we said we don't like to talk about dates, but a key date is the 20th of March due to what's happening with the ISO stuff. Now, somebody commented last week, it was Tracy, and said about that being pushed back. I'm not sure exactly which date you were talking about, because from what I could find, everything was still on track there. So, I know, I'd love to, if you got more information on it, send it to me, that'd be awesome. But one of the things that is supposed to play out before all of this big collapse is a fake scare event, right? A nuclear scenario. Now, if anyone's old enough, and I'm not old enough, I've only read about it, to know, to reference what I'm talking about, the Bay of Pigs. Now, there was a Bay of Pigs event that was basically part of the Cuban Missile Crisis back in 1969, I think it was. I don't know, somewhere around there, whenever the Cuban Missile Crisis was. And that was essentially a nuclear scare event where when Russia had moved all of their stuff to Cuba, or not all of their stuff, they'd moved missiles to Cuba, and the US got all upset about it, and they signed a treaty, and yada, yada, yada. So it's pertinent to it's pertinent to tell everyone about this. This here, you might not be able to see it, so I'll read it. It says, Russian Federation federal law. On the termination by the Russian Federation of the treaty between Russian Federation and the United States of America on measures for further reduction and limiting of strategic offensive arms. Now, this is approved by the Federation Council on the 22nd of February this year. Article, suspend the agreement between the Russian Federation and the United States of America on measures to further reduce and limitation of strategic offensive arms, signed in the city of Prague on 2008. Now, what does that mean? It means that there is now no treaty between the United States and Russia have essentially said, well, fuck you. If you don't play the game, then we've got nukes, so what?
Yeah.
That's our 3-day scare event coming up. That's our Bay of Pigs event that's going to happen. Now, there's a lot to expect of this. Again, everything's just our opinion, guys, but I know I'm preparing ourselves. There's going to be turmoil in the streets. There's going to be panic, because there's going to be a lot of people that aren't paying attention at home, aren't playing along, aren't watching the movie, and don't know what the hell's going on. And we've said it before on the show, it's going to be up to you that do know what's going on to help these people through this, because it's going to be a difficult time.
Mm. Yeah.
Particularly the educated amongst us. When I say educated, I mean like university, vastly educated.
Are we potentially listening or looking out for a Red October, the movie Red October, which was the submarine, which was basically, it was the exact same event that you're talking about. It was a standoff that came right down to the wire, and yeah, all around. There was some famous actors in there that
have been charged with manslaughter.
Oops.
Oh, sorry, we were supposed to say that, not say it. Of course, if you don't know, that was Alec Baldwin, and it was also the late Sean Connery. Sean Connery. That was a terrible impression, Andrew.
Yeah.
That's all right. That was about the defection of that Russian sub crew and the sub that went missing from Murmansk. I can't remember exact name, but incidentally, that is where the woman that got shot on set came from. That Alec Baldwin shot on set, that he's been charged with manslaughter. That's where she came from. That same place where the Red October departed from.
Yeah, like how freaky is that? Is that just a coincidence, or that whole thing, or what was going on?
I know, there's a lot more on it. But anyway, so we've got this to expect. What's going to happen after that? Well, from what I can tell, from all the things that I've read, and I'm probably telling you to suck eggs here because anyone that's watching this, all six of us, and the two of us here, probably know what I'm going to say. And that is that after that, there'll be a 10-day rolling blackout. Now, we're going to lose power. Power will go down. Hey, Aaron Arun's in the house. Sup, Aaron?
Oh, God.
I've never seen him on our show. Hope you're well, brother. So what was I saying? Yeah, 10-day rolling blackout. So we will lose power. Now, will we lose power for an extended period of time? Probably not. But the power does need to go down at some point everywhere for this switch to happen, for this switch over to a new system happen. Now, Neil and I have been watching a guy named Russell-James Guild. I think it's James Guild. Yesterday. Now, he put a documentary out in 2001, wasn't it, Neil? Called Last Flag Standing. Now, if you haven't seen that, go and watch it. I think it's available on Rumble. But if you go to lastflagstanding.com, you'll be able to see his website. Now, he claims that he is the Postmaster General for the entire world. And if you follow the paperwork and the paper trail that he's got, he probably is. So that means he sits above any of the monarchs, any of the heads of state, because he essentially owns the whole world, according to that. Now, he's got video footage of him being in the UN, at the Security Council, been in The Hague, telling them they can't do business anymore, been in the Vatican, telling them who's who. Keynotes. Well done, Aaron. What was the other one I taught you? So, so it's definitely worth going to have a look at. And if people have talked about having their individual sovereignty, and it's funny that Australia has made that a terrorist term. Why? Why is that? Why don't they want people having autonomy over themselves? Very interesting, I would have thought. All men are created equal, therefore, no man has any hold over another. That means, and I've said this on videos before, I don't think I've said it on the show, but guys, if we think about it, and I'm not a religious person, right? But I definitely believe in the universe. I definitely believe there's a higher calling for us. We come from a different place. We are a soul here having a human experience. I definitely believe that. But if we go back to it, it's like there's God's law or universal law, then there's man. So there's God's law, universal, man, then man-made law. Nowhere in this equation can you see that man-made law is above man. No, it's not. It can't be, because man cannot have a hold over another man. Otherwise, they would be chattels. They would be property. You can switch that out for women, whatever. It doesn't matter. What I'm getting at is flesh and bone, right? We cannot be owned by another. Well, we are not owned by another unless you are sold into slavery. And right now, if you're still in the tax system, you are a debt slave, 100%. That's it. There's remedies for that, guys. There is remedies for that. Every tax code around the world says that it's voluntary. I know people will argue that with me and go, no, it's not. Well, it is. It is. Don't ask me how I know. I just know. And even if you say it's not true, it still is.
What I like about Russell, and like I looked at going down the sovereignty route probably 20 years ago, at least. And to me, it was in the too hard basket, having a young family at the time and the ridicule and everything that would come from that. So I never really pursued it. But that meant learning to live within the slavery system and abiding by all the rules and bits and pieces that were put in place. And what I liked in listening to Russell was that his version of that, and he believes he's created the quantum system, and along with that quantum grammar. And of course that's the correct way to move forwards, where we'll all go move forwards. So just to clarify, Russell is all about helping humanity, helping us as individuals to lead the lives that the golden age that I've talked about. That he's all about that, and bringing through and helping individuals to be able to take control of their lives, and which in natural meaning goes right back to taking control of your birth certificate and knowing how to do that, and then how to contract correctly when we're in business or commerce or in just everyday living, goods and services, because when we speak, we're contracting all the time. So to do it using the correct grammar is really pretty exciting. So it's the first time in 20 years I've kind of thought this is a worthy, dig a lot deeper into what this guy's saying. He's got a couple of websites there, so that we're going to go and have a look and follow the path that he's created or built on. Certainly very, very knowledgeable, and looking forward to getting more of his knowledge sort of under my belt and a bigger understanding, because I think in the coming months and years, that as we learn to contract in the quantum, with the quantum language, with the grammar, with the correct grammar, that we're going to have everything that we've always wanted. Now, another thing on that, just before you get into that, is that it's not to do it in a way that's equal. You can't have, it has to be a man and a woman. Yin, I'm not sure if yin and yang is the right word, but
it's the energies. It's masculine and feminine energy, which is what yin and yang represents.
Yeah, and so when he went to the Vatican and he spoke the right grammar, quantum grammar, with the feminine entity with him there, he said they turned around and ran. That's how scared they were of what knowledge that he had, and the ability to be able to follow through or back up that knowledge. Because everything in that, from those circles, or those people, has all been from man alone.
Yeah,
it doesn't have the feminine attachment to it. So really exciting, getting my head around that more and how we apply that moving forwards. But yeah, watch this space. I'm certainly excited to start getting into that. Probably Monday next week I'll start delving into that more.
Yeah, absolutely. It's because you've got a nice nice weekend away. So I've posted the link to the video, the latest documentary he's put out, which is Piercing the Dynasty. I've put that in the chat, so anyone wants to go and watch that. But it's interesting that, and it does bring up exactly what Neil just said a bit, and it's in that video that you can go and watch, and he talks about the masculine and feminine energy. That then starts to, there is only a masculine and a feminine energy. That's it. There's a balance. There's the polarity, duality, if you like. There cannot be any other gender. Right, so this is why the gender agenda is being pushed. That it's simple. It's as simple as that. Because if you lose your identity as a man, which is one of the reasons I'm launching the program that I am about men's confidence and fathers in particular, so they can show up powerfully for their kids, is because it's been bashed the hell out of us. It's like, you're not allowed to be any man anymore. Well, hold on, no. That's what the evil side wants. You have to be, and you have to be a woman. Like that is what there is. So, and no matter what you identify as, when you die and they dig you up 100 years later, they're going to find a male or a female, not one of the 400 other genders or identities that are out there apparently right now. Biologically, you're a male or a female. That's it. And I think South Park had an episode where Mrs. Garrison checked himself into a clinic to have a procedure done, where the doctor uncategorically stated that there is no possible way that A, he couldn't be bleeding, he couldn't miss his period because he couldn't biologically have one, and 2, there was no baby for him to. I'll let you go any further of that, but it's quite funny. I watched this about a minute and 20 seconds long, and it's if you like dark humor, then it's funny. Yeah.
If you kind of just take a step back and you look at all these stupid things that have been that politicians are saying, that banks are saying, it's like I tried to do $100 ANZ banking system withdrawal into crypto, a crypto asset the other day. Like the what they put me through, it'd already been approved, but they blocked my account. It's like for $100. Like, you guys serious? But like crypto, so it's like crypto's bad. We need to the agendas. Any agenda that you want, you can have. So if you look at all the stupidity that's coming out, I think that's the other team throwing whatever shit that they can out of their friggin' what they've got left to distract us from where we're actually going. And that's what Aaron's on friggin' on fire there today. You got to get you on the show, buddy.
Rick and Morty.
But these they're just distractions, and if you kind of look at the mirror of what they're trying to say, it's like the world that we're moving into is really, really exciting. When we overcome and we don't have to deal with this shit anymore.
Yes. So I am listening, and I'm finding more stuff that we need to talk about here, because there's a lot going on, guys. There's so much going on. It's not funny. It's further down.
Well, just look at some of the things that are to happen in this month alone. We've got the
PiPhone.
The PiPhone, which is Elon Musk's. It's like their quantum phone, I think. It's meant to go on sale on the 15th of this month. We've also got on the 20th of this month, and we've talked about it before, but there's a significant date there or significance in the ISO 222 that's happening there. Did you, Andrew, watch or read some of the stuff on that deep dive that was done on the sovereign gold bonds out of India?
No, you should. I haven't had a chance to go through it yet, so you should probably share a bit on that. Before you do, though, I know we're jumping around a little bit, but I just want to share this real quick as well. So, Chinese virologist makes chilling admission about the Wuhan lab. So I know it'll be hard to read this, but basically it says, of course it was not an accident. I can tell you, based on the protocol and the other surveillance systems, it would be impossible for the lab leak accidentally happen in such a lab. So there you go. That's
yeah.
I've seen it twice today, and it's by people that are connected, which is fine. But I think it was along the lines of, I can't wait to see the people lose their shit when they realise how much of the lie they've been living for the last 3 years. And quietly, I'm looking forward to that too. There's part of me that's going, well, I don't know, it's going to be some pretty hairy times, but you know what? Fuck it. Bring it. Let's go. Light that bitch up.
The hairier and the more absurd that it gets. And just doing their best to create as much fear amongst the populace as they can.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's up for us. It's up to us to go to be reassuring for people and allow people to realise that, hey, this is all just part of that cleansing process. We've got to go through this. It's like the butterfly, or like the caterpillar emerging from the chrysalis to become a butterfly. You can't help the caterpillar, because it'll never ever get its wings. It needs to push through that chrysalis for its wings to form properly, for it to squeeze the fluid out of its wings so that they can actually fly, so they're light enough to fly. People are like this as well. All we can do is shine the light and guide the way. We can't do it for them. They've got to do it themselves. And you guys, we've said it before, some people are never ever gonna get this, never ever gonna understand it, which is sad, but it is what it is.
And I think we've called it a movie before, but it's like the guys that there's the white hats, there's the good guys and the bad guys in the movie, and it's like the bad guys are they're driving the movie. as they run out of their resources, and so the white hats, and they're just exposing themselves more and more on a daily basis.
Mm.
So the white hats just kind of clean up the mess and it just moves us all closer to where we know we're heading, what we came here for in the first place. But let me just read this. So it is speculated that Elon's Tesla Quantum Pi phone will go on sale March 15th or March 18th. So would this give real meaning to? Oh, that's sort of 3.4, which is full circle. It's just something else. Don't worry about that. Away. March 1st is the Tesla Investors Day for Earth. Elon Stellar, Smart, etc. So deadline on March 20th for Swift. All goes together like fish and chips. Everything will come together March. March will be madness. The month of liquidity into Stellar Network. People will finally understand liquid tokens. Then the transfer via some of the other technologies. If you guys understand technology, Bridges, Pendulum, Guardian, and Dunbar, important. So that's some of the stuff there. That one there. But just moving through and onto the stuff there about sovereign gold bonds, and that's huge because there's so much that's working. If you think about BRICS and you think about Brazil, Russia, India, China,
South Africa,
and then it's like, and there's so many other countries that are bloody signing up to that. But with sovereign gold bonds and each token having been backed by 1 ounce of gold, it's pretty exciting. And I'm sorry I wasn't sort of prepared to share that, but there has been a whole document put out, which is an awesome read, and I've actually downloaded it as a Google Doc.
Yeah.
So we'll put that as a link, but it is a real worthwhile read. And there's links there to actually grab it. We talk about cryptocurrencies and how difficult they are to get into. But if you haven't already got sovereign gold bonds, there'll be links in there to grab some, because if you could buy some for a fraction of a cent,
there would be a good. Not that this is financial advice, but that is definitely something I've done. I've got as many of those things as I can. The maximum you can buy in any one wallet is 922 billion, and I have 922 billion. So even if they only go to 0.00001 of a cent, I'm still okay. They'll go much higher than that, I believe. Yeah. But anyway, that's another story. Hey, back to something I said before. This ties in nicely with it as well. Remember what I said about US and the Russian Federation, how the treaty is now over, right? Well, check this out. Yeah. Zelensky, what does it say? It says, it's in German. Man, I had it in English before. But basically this says if China join with Russia, then all bets are off. That's essentially what he's saying. Is that it's tantamount to war. So watch the space, because Bay of Pigs, every day we draw closer and closer to this shit starting to happen. And March is definitely a very, very big month. And the reason it's a very, very big month is because under the 13-month calendar, is it the Julian calendar? Yeah. There's 13 months, and March is the last one. So we go into a new year in April. April Fool's Day is traditionally, before 1582, I think it was, somewhere around there, is is New Year's Day.
It's kind of interesting, probably fitting that Harin's on here today too, because there's so many celebrations, ritual type celebration days that India have, and they're probably in other countries around the world that we have no idea what they're all about. And there's so many different countries have their Christmases on different days. They're all celebrating something different. So by all accounts, the correct first day of the new year is April the 1st. Now, if that's correct, and they've hidden it from us does it make sense why it's called April Fool's Day?
Yeah, that's right.
You know, it's like, what? Why is it called April Fool's?
So you can actually see here, guys. Justin, Ukrainian Zelensky, if China allies itself with Russia, there'll be a world war. So that's where I originally got it. So.
And we know that he's just a puppet for.
Did you see? You sent me those videos too. I think Sam did as well, of him with Biden, and his body double kept getting in the shot. It was like a really poorly made movie. It's like, I'm not meant to be in the scene. He's striking out. It's hilarious. Did you not see those?
Oh yeah, I saw those. I think I sent one of those to you, a couple of those to you. And was that in Argentina? It wasn't in his home country, but it's like, but anybody looking from it, I mean, it's like anything you see now. You're always going to question it. You know, that was just fake. You know, it's like, yeah, okay, whatever.
I question everything now. I mean, I have done for a long time. I have done since I had enough evidence shown to me that 9/11 was an inside job, and ever since that, I've questioned everything. I'm like, well, there's something big in the media. What are they trying to distract us from?
Yeah. All the time, every day. You know, we're starting to see more and more stuff come out through the media. You know, just like that premiere of New South Wales being, you know, that was kind of like in the media, but yet we couldn't play it on YouTube.
Yeah, ridiculous, eh?
That's,
ridiculous.
You know, when you realise how ridiculous it is, then and you see that the uptake on things that are happening, then you know. It leads me to believe that we are much closer than, you know, to the finish line, if there is a finish line, to the end of all this shit and the beginning of the cleanup and into the what we came here to do.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, every time I'm really conscious now, like. When you talk about these bloody coke addicts and stuff like that, they're always rubbing their nose into that. Like when they're, I'm like, I've always got this little itch just under here, and I'm like I'm so conscious now. It's like those guys that know that. So anyway, I'm putting it out here now. I'm not a coke
addict. Says every addict that's ever been.
Oh. No, they're all good.
People's are good. It's like that. It's like that night we were in Amsterdam.
Yeah, that was fun. Like, yeah, that was
hilarious. That was hilarious.
On the bridge, you probably got that somewhere to play it. We should actually every week play one of your lives that we did in our journeys.
For those not sure what we're talking about, Neil and I did an event in Amsterdam. Or no, we did an event in Rotterdam, but the first night we were there, we were in the Netherlands. We were in Amsterdam, and we went and had dinner at some steakhouse, which was lovely. Yeah. And then we went for a walk around Amsterdam, as you do. And we did a live video from one of the canals, and you would think that we were stoned, but we weren't. But it was freaking hilarious.
We got the giggles. Yeah. And I said, jeepers, people think we're eating cookies, you know. And there was just a whole sort of a flow-on effect of things that happened that just made us laugh even more and more. And
yeah.
It didn't matter what we said after that. And
all credibility was lost.
Oh no! I could giggle and still got a few tears coming in my eyes just remembering that moment. Yep. But some of the other that we've had.
Hey. So, guys, what can you do to be prepared? Make sure that you got food and water. Keep non-perishables. And I think Neil said it last week. Make sure that you've got a second stash that if somebody comes knocking at your door demanding everything, give it to them. But make sure you looked after you as well. If that means you have to dig a hole in the backyard and bury something, go for it. Do that. Obviously, do non-perishable stuff. You don't want to bury stuff. You don't want to bury meat because the dogs will be into that. You can start dehydrating stuff as well. You could do if you want to go have a look on Facebook. There's a In fact, Phil Burton's got a great group on Facebook that you can go to. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. I'll get it for you. I'll put it in the description later. But there's another one, Soggy Bottom Gardening, I think, on Facebook. It's New Zealand, and they have some good tips about preserving and things like that. So there's still stuff you can do now, but be prepared. Be prepared.
I can already see, and I'm not sure what you guys are like in Australia, but produce and that becoming scarce. You know, we've just had the floods down in the Hawke's Bay region, which has a massive flow-on effect around the country here.
Oh, and the ones in Auckland that destroyed all the potato crops and onions and all that sort of shit up around Pukekohe.
Yeah, Pukekohe.
So it's a bit of a coincidence, isn't it?
Further north, you've got the Coomera guys, so scarceness on all of that. So, you know, it's certainly building up towards something. I think there's a little bit of noise out there now about sort of earthquakes. So I think each country will probably have a different agenda towards unsettling the populace.
Yeah.
And, you know, so you can sort of see what's going on in America with sort of chemical warfare going on there. You've got earthquakes in Turkey. Turkey just had another big one earlier on this week.
Yeah.
You know, you've got weather warfare going on in all these other regions around the world, and New Zealand.
Here's something to consider, though, guys. Just as we're getting close to wrapping up, here's something to consider, and it's along the lines of what Neil was talking about before with quantum grammar and RJG. Go and watch his stuff, because no matter if you follow that and you get your quantum grammar correct and you understand what he's saying about suppositions, presuppositions, and actual discerning that from fact and now, and here we are now. We can't think in future tense, we can't think in past tense, because they're constructs of the mind. They don't exist. All that exists, and Eckhart Tolle talks a lot about this, all that exists is right here and now where you are. That's why you can make a different decision just by clicking your finger and changing right now, because that's all you have. So RJG talks a lot about the quantum grammar and living now and now time and now talk, right? And all of these things. So where I'm going with this is there's remedy. No matter what your tyrannical government tries to do to you, there is remedy for you to give them the middle finger and say, no, that's not who I am. And they cannot touch you.
Yeah.
Even the Taliban had a meeting with RJG, and they said, they asked him a question about what they could do, and he said, well, first of all, you're going to ask me for permission to be on my land. Yeah. And they wanted to shoot him. And his lawyers, the Taliban's lawyers went, actually, he's right. We are on his land. Technically, we're all on his land, guys. This is the thing. So he's an intelligent motherfucker. I'm not sure I can even follow all of what he says, because I feel dumb watching him. But he is very smart, very he educated himself. So go find out about that quantum grammar, because there's remedy in all of that, which what as Neil's talking about starting to dive down that rabbit hole next week. We're definitely going to do it, both of us together probably, and go through his process, because that is the remedy. No one can touch you. If you know who you are, if in fact, you know what, if you know who you are anyway, and that's why there's so many people in Australia and New Zealand that seemingly get away with, I won't say murder because that's not the right word, but breaking the law, is because they understand who they are. They know that the laws don't actually apply to them. You know, I remember I did a live when I was incarcerated in my hotel room in the start of 2000, and it was about, it was along the lines of, no man's above the law. Well, actually, yes, we are. That's a falsehood. No man's above the law. Yeah, that's right. If it's a man-made law, you're damn right you're above it. Unless you are owned by someone else. Unless you are owned by someone else. So understand who you are, guys. That's I think the biggest thing. But there's remedy for all of that shit. Even if what we have been talking about doesn't come to pass, there's remedy for everything else.
Yeah, I think for the first time, I hated politics, and it's never sat well with me. But with what Russell's saying, and we know that the politics and the governing bodies are actually, it's false and lies. With the correct quantum grammar, we can get them to stand down.
That's right.
And what excites me is and why probably, it's like there's so many people here that are wanting to go and do the right thing by the people of the country, and I'm sure it's the same in Australia and all these other countries, but until they learn the correct quantum grammar, you're not going to, you're fighting their system because you're within it. But when you find the correct words to raise above that, and the fact that he is the postmaster of the
Postmaster General of the world,
and he's on our side to correct all this bullshit and free us, and give us control of our sovereignty and our birth certificates and every other bond that they've created from us. Take control of that back. So that's what excites me.
So guys, go check him out. The Last Flag Standing was the first documentary that he did, and you should definitely watch it. Just to give you a real brief synopsis of it, in 1999, the United States of America came out of its third and final bankruptcy, right? That's when it came out. And he used that point. Nobody claimed the office of president. Nobody claimed the office of the post office or anything like that. So he did. He literally captured the US flag. He owns the flag of the United States of America. And through that, and then through the other processes that he followed in quantum grammar, he became the Postmaster General of the world. So he built the new quantum financial system. And something that he says in that last documentary that I posted in there for everyone, which is Piercing the Dynasty, is that the quantum system. So this is what we're going to leave on this. Have no fear around the CBDCs, okay? Because he created the quantum, because we're moving to the quantum financial system. The banks already know this. They've already said as much, right? The quantum financial system, or the quantum system, is designed without banks in mind, i.e. it will do away with banks. So forget about the CBDCs. If there is such a thing, it'll be from the Treasury, and you won't have to use that currency because there'll be other currencies you can use. So with that, happy birthday, Neil. It's been great to be here with you today, my friend. Been great to be here with everybody else, and Harren, and mentioning Rick and Morty, and Sam, and Nanny Prep. But guys, we'll be here same time next week, and I'll be a year older than myself.
Yes. So I guess just stay tuned. If something happens where Andrew's not available, we might sort of put it off. But I kind of like set the tone that we need to get and spend quality time with you guys, regardless of whether it's our celebratory day or not.
Absolutely, 100%.
But yeah, it's exciting times. Don't live in fear. Be excited about what's going on. I mean, shit seems to hit the fan. Know that we're another day closer to the world that we want. Well, we can live, design the world that we want by ourselves, and not have somebody trying to tell us how to live our lives.
100%. 100%. I see Gags is there. Hey, Gags, he's wishing you happy birthday.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We'll see you all next week if we don't talk to you before.
Awesome.
Ka kite anō.
See you later, guys.